Om. शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः यस्माज्जातं जगत् सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याता सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. Among the Upanishadic literature, one of the Upanishads which has plenty of spiritual insights, insights into moksha, insights into dharma, insights into liberation, insights into right living, that is no other than Taittiriya Upanishad, belonging to Krishna Yajurveda. This Taittiriya Upanishad, especially when studied with Adi Shankaracharya's commentary, is like rich, nutritious food for the soul. In this Taittiriya Upanishad, there are 3 chapters which are called 3 vallis. What we will look at in this webinar 273 is a portion of the first valli, Prathama valli, which is named Shiksha valli. Towards the end of Shiksha valli, we have a very fascinating scene. Apparently, a bunch of students have completed their study at a Gurukula. Maybe they studied on an average 10 or 12 years course. Some might have stayed a bit longer, some might have left a bit earlier, but broadly speaking, this particular occasion is when a sizable bunch of students are given goodbye by the Gurukula, by the teachers. They go back to the house of their parents. 12 years ago, let's say, these boys had come when they were very young, probably just 10-year-old. Now 22-year-old, and now they return. They might have made a few visits to their home, but that was not much. Now it's not just going home, but they have to live a responsible life, a life centered in dharma, a life where they will face a lot of challenges, where things are not as easy as when they are students at a Gurukula. In addition to studying and teaching, these young men, and probably some women too, have to face social challenges, challenges of law and order, challenges of indiscipline outside their institution, wherever they are, and within their institution too. Therefore, A challenging life is ahead of them, and it is therefore that in the last two Anuvakas, there are different numberings done here. If you go by the version of Sringeri's website, Advaita Sharada, they have a wonderful website where all the Upanishads, along with Shankara's commentaries, are given in the original Sanskrit Devanagari. Over there, Shikshavalli has only 12 Anuvakas. And what we are going to see this evening in India is the 11th and 12th Anuvaka. Anuvaka is section. The 11th and 12th sections we shall be seeing, and this is called by many scholars of modern times convocation address. In modern times, all the universities have a grand function, convocation. People who have successfully completed their course of study receive their degree. In the Sanskritization in our country, this ceremony is something that makes them snataka. You see, snata is a word that comes from the verbal root sna, means to take bath. If you want to say in Sanskrit, I take bath, aham snami. My brother takes bath, mama brata snati. You take bath, tvam snasi. Sna. And bath is snanam. That everybody knows, snanam. Someone who has taken bath is snata, snataka. And postgraduate studies are called these days snatakottara adhyayana. Why is this taking bath comes into the picture? That is a cultural difference. In the Western tradition, a prince becomes a king, he is coronated. A crown is placed upon his head. In the Eastern tradition too, crowns are placed, but primarily reciting Veda mantras, the prince is given a ceremonial bath. Abhisheka it is called. Pattabhisheka it is called. So here too, in graduation, there is a ceremonial bath as was practiced in the Gurukulas. Some people do not call this convocation address. Some scholars have rightly said, here is a portion which resembles the 10 commandments of the Semitic religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam accept the 10 commandments that Moses received directly from God. Here we have similarly, not exactly 10, more than 10 instructions. They are not exactly the same, nor are they equal in number, nor is this portion all comprehensive. Our commandments are to be selected and collected from many works, many smritis, and the smritis themselves condense it all in one or two shlokas at times and expand the instructions given to students passing from a university, expand those instructions to many verses, many sentences. Our Hindu literature has both comprehensive brief summaries as well as elaborate treatises. It's up to you. What you want, you may take. With this, let's open certain simple slides which are no other than the mantras by themselves. I will comment on the mantras. First of all, we have the title slide, which I shall share on the screen. The Vedic Convocation Address. This webinar 273 is presented on this day, Sunday, August 11, 2024. Mantras are given here. The very first sentence says here, Vedam Anuchya. The rishis did not give out the Vedas. The Vedas were given by rishis much before the rishis who were teachers at this particular Gurukula in the context. If they had said, then it would be Uktva. But since they Anu plus Uktva, Anuchya, it is Anuvachana. Vachana is saying, Anuvachana is saying what was said before, tradition. Therefore, in the two shlokas that Adi Shankaracharya composed and presented or kept them at the very beginning of his commentary, have one obeisance to God, from whom everything comes, in whom everything stays, into whom everything goes back. And in the second verse, which I often use on many various occasions, Yaihi ime gurubihi purvam padavakya pramanataha Vyakyata Sarva Vedantaha Tan Nityam Pranatosmyaham, says Adi Shankaracharya. I daily salute that lineage of countless teachers who, in a most able manner, gave out the Vedantas, the Upanishadic truths. So, Vedam Anuchya, having taught, following the tradition of centuries, if not thousands of years, the Acharya in a certain Gurukula, Vedam Anuchya. Anuchya is synonym of Anudya, Anuvadam Kritva. There also Vada is saying, Anuvada, not necessarily translation. Anuvada means saying again in another way. After all, what is translation? Translation is saying what is given, let us say, in Sanskrit, in English, or in Hindi. That means saying in a different language in another way. So, Anudya, Anuvadam Kritva, Anuchya, Anuvachanam Kritva, Acharya, Ante Vasinam Anushasti. He instructs the Ante Vasi. Ante is inside. So, residential school. And the idea was not just bookish study, not just filling the head with information, not just memorizing mantras, shlokas, or any other thing, but living with teachers, serving the families of teachers, and attending to various duties that are assigned to them. The students in a Gurukula, being constantly under observation of elders, emerge presumably as very responsible, holistically developed young men and women. Presumably, for nothing is as simple as we can visualize between there is a saying, right? There is many a slip between the cup and the lip. So no matter how much you strive, how wonderful vision you have, you start a school, actually the ground reality can be a bit different from what you aspired for. But we must aspire for the best, and we must work out the details very thoroughly and take all possible care. In spite of it, education may not be perfect. That's a different matter. Ante vasinam chatram vidyarthinam anushasti. This is not just speaking, but it is anushasana. It is instructing, shasana. And the most well-known pieces, two sentences from this portion, the sentences are satyam vada dharmam chara. You can stop with these two themselves because satyam vada dharmam chara are inclusive of millions of moral codes, ethical paths or ethical rules. Dharma is morality, ethics, right conduct, right thinking too. Dharma is to live our daily life in such a way, dharyate anena iti dharmaha. The way of living should support us, should sustain us, not outwardly, but inwardly also. We must grow with greater and greater inner strength, resilience, courage, patience, focus, diligence. Many values of the inside in us are primary factors that make our life successful. Whereas when we do not grow up properly, when we are not educated rightly, we have lopsided growth. Some of us may be great intellectuals, but bankrupt in our hearts. Some of us have healthy emotions, but not well informed. They don't know enough with respect to either their subjects or about right living. So, the development of both head and heart and the hands, which mean action, all should go together when head, the heart, and the hands are well aligned. Life becomes wonderful. The person herself is happy even in the midst of challenges and difficulties. She experiences a certain divinity, and through such a person, people who surround her, people who are above her or below her or work with her, are all blessed. To make a human being's life really of high quality, these two are of utmost importance. Satyam vada, speak truth, dharmam chara, live as per right values. Swadhyayat ma pramadaha. Do not swerve from regular spiritual study. Swadhyaya has many meanings, but broadly speaking, the course of study and the course or the syllabus or the material that your own conscience says is a must for you. Every one of us knows I should study this if I want to really live rightly. We know professionally and in our personal life what material is likely to help us. If not with 100% clarity, we do have a very good idea. But out of postponing nature, out of false priorities, which sometimes happens because of false bad company and so on, we skip. We say, oh, though I have not touched the Gita for a long time, it's okay. From September 1st, I will regularly study Gita. Why not today itself? Oh, I'm a little caught up. We have all nice words. I'm a bit caught up. Life is hectic. My schedule is tight. Something or the other we say. The convocation address, where not just one teacher, though the first sentence uses the word acharya in singular, you very soon see there are sentences where the number becomes plural. The instruction involves the plural pronoun we, us, and so on. So, quite presumably, a few teachers are speaking, one after another, maybe. It is a few senior teachers of the Gurukula who are addressing the students of that Gurukula. Swadhyayat ma pramada. Pramada is being error prone, being careless, making mistakes, saying later on, sorry, I should not have done it. Come on, don't go on saying sorry. Set yourself right now itself. Swadhyayat apramada. And the next instruction is about being a responsible citizen. Go, marry, continue your kula, your family. It is said, Prajatantum ma vyavachetsi. So for 999 out of 1000 students, the way ahead is to live a nice, proper, dharmika, grahastha, jivana, to be grahasthas. And those days, there was a custom at the end of the course of study, which involved both spiritual and mundane subjects. The students were expected to bring some dakshina. And it is said here also, Acharyaya dhanam aharitya. Make the dakshina. Ahara is bringing, aharitya, bringing some appropriate dakshina, typically some monetary offering, whatever would be pleasing to the Acharya. Priyam dhanam aharitya, then go marry and extend your family. Rajatantum Vyavacheda is cutting the series. Somebody doesn't marry, no children, and he is the only son or only daughter, then that particular vamsha stops there. Otherwise, it would have continued. To cause a discontinuity is Vyavacheda, Avyavachedsi. Therefore, nobody should misunderstand that Sanatana Dharma is all about asking everybody to renounce. No way. To renounce and go is the instruction for a minuscule number of the membership of Sanatana Dharma. To vast majority, the advice is marry, have a family, transmit noble values to the next generation. Raise sons and daughters who carry the flame, who carry forward the glorious culture. Now coming to Satya again, Satyat na pramaditavyam. For heaven's sake, do not swerve from truth, that is truthfulness. You don't know how much your life gets messed up. Even if nobody in the world comes to know the lie that you spoke, inside yourself you will pay for lying. Inside you, something breaks, something splits, something loses its shine, something gets disintegrated. Therefore, to do justice to people around you, and more importantly, to do justice to your own inner growth, speak the truth. Do not move away from truthfulness. Satyat na pramaditavyam. Satyat ma pramadah. Ma pramadah is expressed in another way. Na pramaditavyam. Likewise, dharmat na pramaditavyam. In Kerala, there was a saint called Chattambi Swamigal. Chattambi Swamigal was probably some 50 years older of 5 decades earlier generation than Swami Chinmayananji. When Swami Chinmayananji was a little child, suddenly out of nowhere Chattambi Swamigal came to their house in Ernakulam and came inside, and everybody bowed down. He was a well-known Sadguru saint, and he said, "Where is that child?" And they gave the child to Chattambi Swamigal, and Chattambi Swamigal placed the child, who was known for years as Balakrishna Menon and later became Swami Chinmayananda. And we don't know what he transmitted, what he did to the child. While leaving the house, Chattambi Swamigal said, "This boy will become a Mahatma." That prediction came true after some 30 years. Anyway, this Chattambi Swamigal, it seems, once was invited to some house for Bhiksha. He said, "Yes, I will come tomorrow, but there will be some 20 or 25 people, devotees, who they will also come." The family who invited said, "Okay, very good, very good." But they saw there were no disciples around with the Chattambi Swamigal in that particular visit to their town. So they wondered who are going to be those disciples or devotees or whoever. Whatever he has explicitly said. So they were ready for some 25 people to come with the Chattambi Swamigal. And at the right time, Chattambi Swamigal came alone. But he said, "My disciples are on the way. Please put food for them also on banana leaves." Again, very perplexing. The host, anyhow, put a number of banana leaves on which food was served. Any moment, the disciples were to come. And it is said that a number of dogs came and sat before those banana leaves in a very disciplined manner. And as various items of the meal were served, the dogs ate that food and afterwards quietly went out. That's the version I have heard. Maybe there are some little differences, variations to it. Whatever, later on, Chattambi Swamigal, before leaving, said, it seems, "All these are devoted to me and they are all regretting what they did in their last life." The host and other devotees said, "What did they do? What were they in their last life?" All these dogs were in their last life corrupt government officials. They took bribe. They violated dharma. They violated satyam. And later, as they were quite educated once, they regretted, but it was too late. In this life, they have become dogs, but they have a little like Jada Bharata. When he was a deer, he remembered the previous life where he was a great tapasvi, a great ascetic, and very well read. He becomes a deer in the next life, though in a deer's body, Jadabharata in the next life remembers his life as a muni, as a rishi. So these dogs have memory of what they were, the wonderful bungalows they had, the nice cars in which they moved, which is okay, and then the money below the table that they took. And now they are regretting, now they are trying to remember God for being relieved. Therefore, Satya Pramada, Dharma Pramada are dangerous. Nobody may see, but God above sees. Kushalat na pramaditavyam. We should not be just empty philosophers. Kushala means doing good, well-being of people. You have a family, you must take care of the family. You must do your duties. You must not be in the name of some high philosophy. Turn away, turn your face away from responsibilities. You must provide to spouse and children what you owe them. Bhutyaina pramaditavyam. Bhuti, vibhuti also is steps towards reasonable prosperity. Therefore, once more, it is a big error to say Eastern religions are, oh, they are so, otherworldly. They don't care for society and so on. No way. There are some portions in our scriptures which are meant for less than 1% of the population, where it is said, renounce everything. Yadahareva virajet, tadahareva pravrajet. There is a sentence in the Vedas. The day you get supreme vairagya, don't waste even one single day. Go away and become a sannyasi. But that day doesn't come easily for overwhelming majority of people. All others have to contribute. They must earn and they must give. Receive and give. Receive from the society and give to the society and adore Lakshmi, wealth, adore Durga, power, adore Saraswati, knowledge, adore all of them. Do not, in the name of being a Saraswati Bhakta, insult or neglect Lakshmi or Durga. But true to your Swadharma, true to how you are made, the ratio, the proportions to which you and I pursue Lakshmi, Durga, or Saraswati can change. Some by nature are more into power, exercise of power, Kshatriya Dharma. Some are more into seeking knowledge, Brahmana Dharma. Then some are more into safeguarding the wealth, not just of themselves, of the whole society. And some among us, no matter to whom we are born, certain purva sanskara, certain purva janma was such that we are directly not into the pursuit of wealth or power or knowledge, but we do a secondary role, that is Shudra Dharma, and sometimes to a single mother, there could be, let's say, four children. One could be Brahminical, one could be Shudra, one could be Kshatriya, one could be, the fourth one could be Kshatriya too. Therefore, as per our dharma, we might position ourselves properly, and that dharma may change, swadharma may change. Somebody who was very lazy during school days, high school days, sometimes turns out to be very focused and hardworking, diligent in one's college days. Then one's swadharma changes. At every time, recognize what your dharma is. Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. Earlier he had said, don't stop your regular study. Now it is said, share also. Pravachana is a way to share. Deva pitrakaryabhyam na pramaditavyam. This is quite an orthodox portion. Vedas uphold all the aspects, dimensions. Vedas are not mere Vedanta. Vedanta says move further from karma. But the entirety of Vedas, bulk of Vedas, ask us to do karma. Therefore, though some people sometimes tend to find fault with Sringeri, Kanchi, etc., where are they doing Vedanta? Where are they doing Upanishad Prachar? They are doing Upanishad Prachar also to some extent, but they are custodians of the entire Vedas. Therefore, if you go to Orthodox Mutt, Udupi or Srirangam, Sringeri, Puri, Dwarka, and so many others, you find that they train a number of people in the entire Vedas, recitation, doing various karmas, various yajna, yaga, homa, havana, observing various vows, vratams, various rituals, observing a very, very traditional, way of living, and that has certainly a place. Whether you can do it or not is a different question, but do not find fault with those who observe a rather traditional way of living. To live very traditionally is in fact most wonderful if it's possible for anyone. And what is wrong, what can go wrong is you are a traditional Hindu and every day you do some japa tapa and then you look down at others as though others are inferior. That is wrong on your part. So one should not have this idea of high and low. You do what you adore and you understand why others live their way and live and let live and be happy and promote others' happiness. Matra devo bhava, pitra devo bhava. No commentary is needed here. Acharya devo bhava, atiti devo bhava. The samasa here, grammatically speaking, is a bit tricky. Not many know. Matra devo bhava, matra devaha is a bahuvrihi samasa. Mata devaha yasya saha. Become one to whom mother is like God. Become one to whom father is like God. Become somebody to whom or for whom a teacher is like God. Become someone for whom a guest is like God. But in simple translation, look at mother as God, look at father as God. Let your guest be God to you, and so on. Yani anavadyani karmani tani sevitavyani. See how it is so rooted in day-to-day life. Don't do things which are worthy of censure, ninda. Anavadya means flawless, faultless, which are not regarded as unrighteous by the scriptures, by elders, and by your own conscience. Anavadyani karmani sevityani. So anavadya in simple translation, shuchi. Do shuchi karma, shuddha karma, not ashuddha. No itarani. Na with another letter u becomes no. Sounds like English, but it is na. Na itarani. Do not do other things which are questionable, for you will pay for them. You will eventually suffer. Yani asmakam sucharitani. See, the plural is coming. The teachers say, during these 10 or 12 years, you saw certain good things in us. Sucharita. Please, in your life, you do them. No itarani. How honest. How down to earth. The teachers are openly admitting that amidst or among things that we were doing, our conduct, our deeds, some probably were not all that good. We have our limitations. We are not perfect. And you please do not do those things which we were doing and which did not appeal to you. Do those things which inspired you. So, how honestly the teachers were saying that they had occasionally erred or made some mistakes in their judgment. And ekecha asmat shreyanso brahmana. Brahmana shabda here should be taken, learned people. There are some learned people who are shreyamsaha. Shreyamsaha is plural of shreyan. Shreyan, shreyansau, shreyansa. Those wise people, learned people who are even better than us, when you meet them, because now you are going back to your village, your town, we are here in another place. Over there you meet many, and when they are so learned and you feel they are more eminent than us, your teachers, then be full of respect. And when you are near them, Tvaya Tesham Tvaya Asanena. They are seated and don't go very near and breathe hot air over their shoulders or on their face. Therefore, in very respectful behavior, you and I go to some very saintly person. First of all, we don't go very close. We keep a distance. Even while speaking, we hold a hand before our mouth so that even by mistake, some saliva should not fall on them. Here this word used is prashvasitavyam. Don't even breathe heavily where the air coming out of your nose, your mouth goes on them. That is literal meaning. All that means treat them with utmost respect. Share your wealth, Shraddhaya Deyam. Give your wealth, share your wealth, give to worthy people with faith, with certain fear of Bhiya Deyam. Bhiya means Bhayena, with some fear of, you know, oh, am I not doing what should be done? Am I failing to do right things? There should be a certain fear of violating desirable moral ways. Samvidadeyam. One must give with knowledge. Shriyadeyam. Shraddhayadeyam. Ashraddhayadeyam. This is interpreted in two ways. It can be split as Ashraddhaya Adeyam. Never give lacking in faith. Some say whether you have faith or not, when you see somebody suffering, help him. So Ashraddhaya Deyam or Ashraddhaya Adeyam. I would take Ashraddhaya Adeyam as preferred one, while the other one also can be accepted. When you don't have faith or don't give in some kind of mechanical way, inwardly saying, I don't know why all this has to be done. Not that kind of disrespect. Learn. Do some satsangs, then you will get the Shraddha which you did not have before. Shriya, generously, with enough wealth. Driya, with humility, modesty. Bhiya, with fear. Samvida, with understanding. And lastly, Atayadite karma vichikitsava vritta vichikitsava syat. As you get along, as you go along your life, at places you have vichikitsa. Vichikitsa means doubt, samshaya, with respect to right way of doing karma and with respect to vritta, right behavior. Then we are far, you can't come running to us. Wherever you are, whichever town you are in, there are learned people. Brahmanaha, Sammarshina, Sammarsha, Vimarsha, all this means those who do vivechana, those to deliberate on what is right, what is good for all, what is good for the society, what is selfless, those who do such deliberation. Yuktaha, ayuktaha, they are well placed, they are properly positioned. Aluksha, in Sanskrit, ruksha means harsh, ra, like Rama, ra. And ra and la are at times interchangeable. Aluksha is originally aruksha. So those who are not harsh, those who are soft spoken, or even if they are not soft spoken, at least they avoid harsh ways. Sometimes they may raise their volume, raise their voice, just as is appropriate. Dharma kama, they themselves are seeking dharma. If you see, if you see them, if you seek their advice, then you will also attain, you will also uh, earn more and more merit. Yata te tatra varteran, the way they behave, tata tatra varteta, you too behave in that way. Varteran is the way they would behave, vartetaha is you should behave that way. Especially in certain cases, there are some who are accused, who are there's an allegation about somebody. Let's say that this man stole some money. You don't know what to do. So just because you heard that somebody stole money, just punish him if you have the authority. The teachers instruct, no, 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 don't do anything in a hurry. Somebody may report, but that report may not be true. Again, ye tatra brahmana asamvarshinaha yukta ayuktaha aluksha dharmakamasyuhu. Similar words. Follow their example. If you get a chance, consult them. Ask their opinion. Don't do everything thinking you know it all. Many a time, in spite of your education, you may be well read, you may be knowledgeable, but in some matters, better to check with a couple of learned, pious, dharmic people. The last slide says, this is the instruction. Yesha Adesha. This is the Upadesha. Adesha, Upadesha, both imply some are instructions, some are illumining teachings, some say do and don't, some just show the nature of things. Yesha Vedopanishad. This is the secret teaching hidden in the Vedas. Etad Anushasana. This is our order. This is what we ask you to do without fail. Evam upasitavyam. In your life, get back to these teachings again and again. Like you may worship a Shivalinga every morning. You are a Vishnu Bhakta, you worship a Shalagrama every morning. You are a Ganesha Bhakta, you do Ganesha Upasana every morning. Like that, you should do Upasana of these moral instructions, of these instructions on right conduct. Evam u cha etad upasyam. Upasitavyam and upasyam are synonyms. It's like kartavyam, karyam, karaniyam. There's a third one too. But then why are they said in two ways? For extra emphasis. So this is quite simple in a way, but all of us need these. We should remind ourselves of these instructions. Otherwise, however learned we may be, we tend to forget. We tend to sometimes take law in our hands. We take, we try to become a law unto ourselves. The law is for all others, not for me. In this way we may behave. Therefore, this peace is immortal indeed. We don't know how many thousands of years old this portion is, this way Upanishad is, when it was first discovered by some rishi, and how long it has been handed over from generation to generation. We have no idea, but we are inheritors of something very precious, something so beautiful. Nama Paramarashibhyo, Nama Paramarashibhya. So already there are some questions too. Did you have Abhisheka and special instructions when you left Gurukulam after a few years? Well, in our Sandipani Sadhanalaya, there is a Diksha ceremony. So at the end of the 2 years program, yes, those who have successfully completed it, they take may not be elaborate rituals at our ashram, but taking fresh bath and symbolically the hair is cut a little, and for boys completely shaven with a little choti, a little tuft left. For girls, I guess some symbolically something is done, but special instructions are given, but all in a little liberal way. In the Chinmaya mission, it is rather made a bit liberal. But I would imagine in formal and more traditional, more orthodox places, the Abhisheka, the Upadesha are all done in more formal ways. Dharma has been equated with karma yoga, which is mostly your worldly actions with attitude and intentions. Yeah, those who have less understanding of the Vedika karma even develop an allergy to rituals, and then they say karma yoga is social service. Social service is very good, we respect it, But primarily, Karma Yoga is Ishvara Aradhana, seeking love of God. Seeking love of God. Secondarily, you see Ishvara in poor people, hungry people, sick people. You see God in other human beings. But Gandhi, Tilak, and many others highlighted it because their field of work also was more, related to lots of members of society who had no idea of Vedas or religious scriptures. So they spoke that language, which is also good. Karma Yoga has been equated to Dharma, um, but Karma Yoga itself doesn't have to be worldly action. You do Shodashopachara Puja, and at the beginning and at the end say, I don't ask anything else for God. Please give me a pure mind, give me Viveka, give me Vairagya, and give me Bhakti to you. Then that is Karma Yoga because you are not asking for a car or a house or money or that kind of thing. So Karma Yoga actually has both the wings, social service and pure love of God. Depending on your nature, your swadharma, the way you are made up, you may take one of them more and the other less. And you should respect. If you are doing social service, respect those who do the puja, japa, etc. If you are more into puja, japa, don't look down at those who are doing social service. They are great in their own way. It is all loko bhinna ruchihi. There is a saying. How about Bhaja Govindam's message? Which line are you talking about, Bhaja Govindam? Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukkrim Karani. The first sloka says, just don't go on gaining scholarship, but rather develop love of God. Bhaja Govindam. So, there are many verses in Bhaja Govindam. Sai Prakash also asks, you are so clear and open about otherwise controversial issues, which makes you an elevated acharya. Well, whatever over the years I have learned, I am sharing with all of you. Because the Orthodox should not look down at the so-called, those who don't know much about original practices, nor should the uh, so-called social workers find fault with the people who are protecting age-old traditions. We should have mutual respect and there should not be any negative emotions towards each other. That's my submission. So Anita asks, how does one balance moksha sadhana with living in the world? Yeah, living in the world is unavoidable for us when we ourselves have attachments. And therefore, we must balance moksha. The pursuit of moksha should be balanced with our dealing with world's issues by trying as much as possible to do things of the world with no selfishness or less selfishness. As selfishness reduces in all that we do in the world, of the world, for the world, the way is paved to move towards moksha. Otherwise, we may want to gain moksha, but the mind, known to us or unknown to us, has all kinds of worldly desires. So, niswartha karma. World is nothing but karma. But generally it is sakama karma, selfish work. So we must move towards nishkama karma. Then some balance is gained. And more nishkama karma, mind becomes so pure, you are freed from karma. You need not do karma, either puja japa or social service. But if you wish to do, nobody stops you. That is your sweet privilege. either to leave or to stay on. But when your mind is not pure, social service or more and more of loving puja of God are a must. Ramakrishna did so much of puja. He did not go around and try to uplift the society. His own disciple Vivekananda did a lot of social service too. He said, serve man, and that is the way to serve God. Ramakrishna, serve God, that is the way to serve man. He almost said that. Because finally, God is in man and man is in God. Both are true. Where you begin depends on your personality type. Yes, Rampai says, live in the world and give up doership. Correct. One level is become selfless, and higher level is let go of even the idea you are doing. Doership is so I want this, I want that, I want people to praise me. That is sakama karma. And when we don't make a big issue of praise and so on, the point comes when we get glimpses of how some higher force is getting things done through us. I am not the doer. So Ramji is very right. We must live in the world but give up our doership. So the portion we saw today acts as a mirror to all these lofty insights of spirituality. The portion we saw outwardly is more ethical, more of instructions, do and don't, but that paves the way for higher spirituality. Okay, we bow down before those gurus who left behind such a glorious legacy for you and me to study and grow. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Yeah. Okay, so no question or some good night. Good night to people in the east. Good day to people in the west.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Vipaji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om. I only read the questions in the chat box. Probably some people wanted to speak up. I didn't look at the. Anyone
Do we have
wants to
time,
turn?
Swamiji?
Yeah, we have 2 hours 30 seconds. Not 2 minutes. 2 minutes 30 seconds. Yeah, please ask.
Okay. Swamiji, I don't know. I think I missed something in the lecture. You mentioned Vedanta says move away from karma, and then right below there was Vedas. What is that Vedas referring to there?
Yeah, Vedas are the 95% of Vedas. Vedanta is the 5% of Vedas. So by Vedanta we mean the Upanishads, which by number of mantras is less than 5%. It's like in a symbolic manner. Suppose Vedas have 100 chapters. Vedanta is the last 5 chapters. So when I say Vedanta asks us to move away from karma, it is saying that the 5 chapters which are on a higher plane say enough of karma, now gain jnana, inquire who you are, inquire what is your true nature, Brahma Vichara. But 95 chapters say because large majority are not fit enough to do that Brahma Vichara. Therefore, 95% of the Vedas, Veda Purva we call it, asks us don't give up karma, don't let go of karma. Rather, do it and use karma to purify yourself. Your behavior, your words, thought, word and deed should all get purified by either Ishvara Aradhana or Samaja Seva, either Narayana Seva or Nara Seva. Right? The Veda Purva asks us to stay in karma till we are truly selfless. Our kama, krodha, lobha, moha, all of them should, if not zero, they should become very less. The frequency of all those coming up should become so less. Once in a blue moon, we feel, I must go for a very nice, larger bungalow. But then next day we say, let's not waste time on that. So suppose once in a while, then it's okay. So Chitta Shuddhi. Vast majority of people are in need of Chitta Shuddhi. So Vedas address them. Veda meaning the Veda Purva. By Vedas is meant Veda Purva. And then Vedanta is meant Vedasya Anta. Yeah. Both are Vedas only.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any last question or anybody wants to give his or her view on some matter? Welcome to.